What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including the Boogeyman coming back to WWE, Zelina Vega reminds Vince McMahon of daughter Stephanie, how the WWE nearly split up the New Day, Seth Rollins wants to help get a WWE superstar over big, Finn Balor says the WWE ruined the Demon, there's no plans for Mandy Rose, is Tessa Blanchard in WWE Battlegrounds, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Our first story looks at the Boogeyman possibly coming back to WWE. Now when you talk about some crazy gimmicks in the WWE, right at the top of the pile would be the WWE's resident Boogeyman, a sort of precursor to the classic character Papa Shango in the early 90s. He terrorized WWE superstars during the Ruthless Aggression era, but was released in 2009, thereafter making sporadic appearances. It's been a while since we've seen him, but the man behind the mask, Martin Wright, has teased he might be coming back to the WWE, dropping this hint on Twitter. Now if he does return, we'd love to see him in a match against The Fiend. Next up, Vince compares Zelina Vega to his daughter Stephanie. Zelina Vega has really come into her own as a manager on Raw, with a number of fans and wrestlers alike praising her ability to get her wrestlers over with her promo skills and undeniable presence at ringside. Apparently she has another fan, and it couldn't be anyone more important, none other than Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Vega appeared on Devon Dudley's Table Talk podcast recently and discussed this amazing discovery.
Whenever it happened, it was magic with him. And it's interesting because before even quarantine happened, you know, Vince would always say, like, you're one of my favorites. You're one of the reasons that I watch Raw. I love your character. And it was such an honor to hear that, because one of the things that he used to say to me was, you remind me of Stephanie, because she was always working out there. And you're a cutaway machine. I love that about you. And I'm telling you, first of all, I was like, are you serious? Like, legit, I was like ready to cry. I was like, I love Stephanie. She's a huge inspiration when it comes to me and the Zelina character. But it's wild to think that if this quarantine didn't happen, I wonder where I would be. I wonder if, you know, I'd be getting a Raw women's title shot against Asuka, you know?
While Vega is best known to Raw viewers for her stint as Andrade's manager, she wrestled on the indie circuit and in TNA wrestling. With Vega looking to battle Asuka for the Raw Women's Championship, fans could see Vega wrestling more, especially now that it appears she's finished managing Andrade and Angel Garza. Next up, Seth Rollins wants to help get a WWE superstar over big. After a shaky run as Universal Champion in 2019, Seth Rollins has rebuilt himself into one of WWE's best main event heels, and as such, he reportedly wanted to use his star power to help elevate younger talent. During an appearance on the Dropkick Discussions podcast, Sportskeeter's Tom Collier mentioned, when it comes to what Seth is doing, he's really working right now to develop a lot of people. At this stage of his career, he's very much alongside Randy Orton as the top guy on Raw and alongside Roman Reigns as the top guys in the company, and he's determined to develop the next generation. Seth really wants to work with everyone involved here, and he has handpicked quite a few people, including Dominic. He handpicked that one out of the list of potential matches. Seth wants to get people over, and I think Buddy Murphy might be his greatest triumph yet. Now, if Seth got a list of opponents that he could have faced, which other opponents would you like to see him face next? And should he put them over? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Finn Balor talks how WWE ruined the Demon. Finn Balor's Demon persona was one of the most interesting aspects of his career in NXT, and fans expected more of the same when Balor jumped to the main roster. However, during an appearance on the Vibin Wrestling show, Balor confessed that something got lost on the main roster. He mentioned, the Demon was designed as something special. It was one of those things that should have been saved for breathtaking occasions, but it ended up being advertised in the media, and that was one of the main reasons why it didn't work. The surprise factor was completely gone, and the Demon became Finn Balor's savior, which is also to my detriment because I could not develop my own character separate from the Demon. I think it hurt both of us, Finn Balor and the Demon. Now that Balor is NXT champion, fans may see the Demon return when the time is right. Next up, how the WWE almost split up the New Day. The New Day has been one of the WWE's most popular factions, with the talented trio of Xavier Woods, Kofi Kingston and Big E having been together for over 6 years. However, at one point, the WWE was going to move the New Day members to different shows while maintaining the New Day brand. According to a recent tweet by WrestleVotes, interesting idea that was discussed but turned down. Kofi Kingston would return to Raw while Big E stays on SmackDown. Both remain part of the New Day, including gear and music, just on separate brands. Another twist, Xavier Woods would serve as a manager type appearing on both shows. The New Day have repeatedly discussed how they could pursue singles careers while maintaining their status as a faction, and the WWE has already done this as seen by Kofi Kingston's WWE Championship run, as well as Big E's current singles career. Nonetheless, a move to separate brands might be too detrimental to the faction solidarity. What do you think would happen if the WWE did move the New Day members to different brands? Would it have been a good move? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, the WWE has no plan for Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose has been traded to Raw from SmackDown, a move some saw as part of the ongoing storyline between Otis and the team of Miz and Morrison. However, according to a tweet from Ringside News' Steve Carrier, we have learned that Mandy Rose's trade to Raw was real. She's not just an angle, and it's a tale as old as time. There are no plans. That's why they only showed a graphic for her this week. We're told it's a mess. More coming soon. Has Vince McMahon soured on the Otis and Mandy Rose romance angle, one of the most popular SmackDown storylines in recent memory? Or is this just a case of the WWE having no idea what's going on from week to week? Next up, did AEW Dynamite feature a shoot? It's kinda rare when two wrestlers legitimately fight in the ring, aka a shoot, but fans are speculating that's exactly what happened on the 16th September Dynamite when NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa wrestled AEW grappler Ivelisse. According to a report from Fightful, the two women began exchanging legitimate blows during their match. Ringside News also noted there was a rumor going around in the AEW locker room that the two weren't getting along prior to their match. It appears that Ivelisse wanted to test the NWA Women's Champion by not selling, and Thunder Rosa had a way of making her sell. The NWA Women's World Champion is known for being stiff in the ring, and Ivelisse no-sold some spots during their match. Thunder Rosa didn't like that at all. It was said that those in attendance thought that the match was going to have to be edited, but we weren't told whether or not it actually was. A number of fans posted on social media that it looked as if Ivelisse no-sold during the match. Since Rosa is from another promotion, you can be sure she was angry if her opponent was trying to make her look bad. Next up, Ronda Rousey returning, clue number 2. While Ronda Rousey left the WWE after WrestleMania 35, there have been rumors of a return for some time. Recent posts of Rousey helping to train Roddy Piper's daughter Ariel led to talk that Rowdy Ronda may be looking to make her WWE comeback. Now, a recent tweet by Rousey has fans' interest peaked. After WWE.com tweeted a photo from Rousey's 2018 match against Natalya, Ronda replied, "One of my favorite matches, such a huge challenge in so many ways. What a crazy day, looking forward to a rematch someday." Is Rousey returning to the WWE, or is she just reminiscing? It would seem the WWE would want to save Rousey's return for a time when there are fans in the audience. But if Rousey wants to return, don't expect the WWE to turn her down. Next up, Paul Heyman talks his unique partnership with Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns shocked the WWE Universe when he aligned himself with Paul Heyman, the former advocate of Brock Lesnar, but how does Heyman see his partnership with Reigns? Speaking with Sports Illustrated, Heyman explained that, with all humility aside, this is the biggest move WWE can make with its talent at the moment. We have the tenured, still young, just hitting his prime WrestleMania main eventer, the undisputed #1 star in WWE, and he'd been off for 7 months. Didn't appear at this year's WrestleMania. Now he's ready to come back, and he returns with someone that has been on the top and has been associated with top acts for 30 years. However you define me, whether it's as a manager, an advocate, a supporting mouthpiece, and now special counsel to the tribal chief, I've been with more WWE and Universal Champions than anyone, and now these two acts are together for the first time. Fans are eager to see how things play out with the Heyman-Reigns alliance, especially should Brock Lesnar return to the WWE. Interestingly, Heyman discussed this situation. Brock Lesnar is very aware that I'm working with Roman Reigns. There shouldn't be any confusion here. Brock Lesnar legitimately does whatever Brock Lesnar wants to do. There is no shortage of box office appeal in the name Brock Lesnar. If and when Brock Lesnar wants to capitalize on that box office appeal, his name will be ringing from the headlines the moment he decides to return to the ring. What would actually be amazing is if we had a Heyman, Reigns, and Lesnar partnership. It would probably be the most dominant trio in wrestling today. And finally, is Tessa Blanchard in WWE Battlegrounds? Is wrestling's #1 female free agent Tessa Blanchard in WWE's upcoming Battlegrounds video game? Well, Healed by Nature had a tantalizing tidbit in a recent tweet saying, "Why is Tessa Blanchard in WWE 2K Battlegrounds?" Screen cap from New Legacy Inc. Twitch stream. The screen cap from the game does resemble Blanchard, but is this just an Easter egg from the game's developers or a clue that Tessa is WWE bound? One thing is for sure is that the photographer who took the picture and owns the copyright to it isn't pleased. He tweeted, "Hey WWE Games, you want to tell me why you took my photo without my permission to use it in your game?" Now, one Twitter user said that it falls under fair use copyright. However, the photographer said, "Wrong. Fair use act is if you use the picture for explanation purposes, not for art in a game that you're making money off of." It'll be interesting to see what 2K does. Will they remove the illustration or pay the photographer royalties? Well, there you have it guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.